Conversations with Counselors, episode 2.
Strong start.
I know. We've known each other for a while now, so I smile and get excited every time I see you.
Yeah, me too.
So Conversation with Counselors, for you, if you don't know that much about it, so it's really, our mission for WIRTH is to normalize counseling and therapy. So normalize counseling and therapy and help pay for those who would otherwise be unable to afford.
Yeah.
And this really is going to route more towards normalizing counseling and therapy and really showing people where it takes place. You know, kind of taking a step out of the equation where people can watch this and they're like, oh, if I went to see Kevin, this is where we'd be sitting. Mm-hmm. And this is where we'd be sitting, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. You there, me here?
Yeah, we could switch it up, but mostly we get settled into this. I don't know. I guess the first thing about this space in particular, like I've worked in more traditional spaces,
right,
like in a more like kind of clinical office setting, which this is not.
Right.
But you know, a big thing for me with this space, I used to kind of like, when people would come in, new clients would come in,
yeah,
I would almost like apologize or like over-explain it and be like, I know it's probably not what you thought, but and then it came to me like, this is all me, you know, it's all my stuff, it's my books, it's the plants that I've found down the street, right? And so it's, if I'm going for an approach that's trying to like get people more comfortable with their authentic self, like I might as well just do it in an authentic way, both in the work and in what the environment looks like, you know?
Yeah, cool. You've talked you talked a couple times when we've chatted about like the relationship, and a lot of times I think people believe that you know, it's like they go see a counselor and it wasn't that great of a fit, and then they're like, oh, no, I've seen it didn't work out. And so just talk about that for a moment. Just like sometimes people describe it, it can be like shopping around where one person's not a great fit. It's not that they're not a great counselor, but they're just not the perfect fit for that individual.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard thing. And I wish we were better set up as a profession for that shopping around. I mean, you guys are trying to eliminate some of these barriers through sharing things like this to get like a feel for it, right? You know, like, sometimes the like public things that I do, the performances of the talks, that can be very helpful just to like, oh, I could picture myself talking to a person like that.
Right.
Or I couldn't picture myself talking to someone like that. I prefer somebody of a different gender or older or younger.
Yeah.
And it's really tricky because like counseling is such, in many ways, a very private thing and a confidential thing, and that's very important, but it can seem like, where are they all? You know, like they're all, you know, they're in offices and they have like websites, and the websites just kind of start to look the same, and you don't really get a feel, and you talk to somebody on the phone. It's like, it's a lot of things to navigate.
Yeah.
But it is one of these things where like, you know, there's like a kind of a click of recognition of like, I don't know how we're going to do this, because, you know, that's, you know, we work together, but it's a counselor's job to like kind of shepherd the thing. But it's like something about it like, oh, this feels okay to share with you these things.
Right.
And there's something, you know, whatever that feeling is, it's maybe different for different people. Like you meet somebody on the street or at a party or like a friend, it's like, oh, I feel like something's happening here.
Right.
It's not a friend situation in counseling, but it is a relationship.
Yeah.
And so it should be some kind of familiar, comfortable feeling. Yeah. Fuck, man.
Both you had it's like, you know, it's like counseling, like rapid fire. You're like,
yeah, I can.
This. What is this?
Instantly, when you say that, I mean, we could have a whole. That's the first.
It's rapid fire. What's the sport you love?
You know. So this is why it's difficult. So lately, I've been trying kickboxing.
Okay.
And I don't condone. I think it's kind of like, I'm not trying to get punched in the face, but I think there's lots of beauty in just the, it's like, what do they call boxing? Like the sweet science? There's something very beautiful about it. How present do you have to be?
So boxing is the answer for the rest of your life? One sport.
I'm very drawn to it.
Okay, boxing.
Yeah.
You have to watch one sport.
And I've got the CS bag.
Yeah. You have that last little small boxing bag.
One time a person, I'm just thinking of how, a former client of mine, I was actually, speaking earlier about moving offices. I was moving offices from downtown place to this place, and there was a plant in the office downtown, and we were kind of, saying our goodbyes and like acknowledging we're gonna, meet in a different place. And I pulled off this leaf from this plant. They were like, what could I would like to remember this place. And I pulled them off this leaf and gave them this leaf. And like a long time went by, and this had just totally slipped my mind. And then he gave me the leaf back like years later. Oh, cool. And it was like all dried out and stuff, but like the fact that he'd been hanging on to it, like using it like as a bookmark or something. And just this thing of like, it was like literally a marker of time where it's been years since I've been in that office, and we've done a lot of work since then. And like, the dried out leaf came back to my life.
How long ago was that?
It was a little while. It was, our relationship has been over, a number of years. I'm just looking into your eyes and just wait until the right answer. It's not you, but I'm looking into you. It's kind of like it seems like a cliche answer, but I will say my dad's, have you met my dad?
No, I've met your mom. I've never met your dad. I met your mom at the art exhibit. No, never met your dad.
There's a classic, like you look up to your dad because, as a young man, you just do that. But the more I understand this counseling stuff and the more I kind of get to know him, like he's kind of a pivotal guy where just as far as growing up in like a very kind of like old school kind of like get your work done and shut up kind of masculine environment, but he's actually very sensitive. So he just kind of has both things in a really interesting way. And like, it's just interesting to see how they go with him. And it's so apparent like where I get some of my stuff. Yeah. And I probably should have, learned some more like masculine, like I should learn how to change a tire at some point or like, but instead I was just in my feelings. It took me down a different path.
Still time.
Yeah, there's still time.
Still time. Dad, how do I change the time? What? Please, teach me. What is one question you wish people asked more?
What loops haven't I closed?
Right.
Because I think sometimes people come with like some like unresolved emotional stuff, and it's kind of like going back to like close some loops or like let some waves kind of crest.
Right.
So sometimes I think like which loops are still open, and that's maybe just like a language that works for me. But asking that in service of going back and maybe just like resolving and putting some stuff down versus like continuing on. Like instead of going back and handling that, maybe I just busy myself, or maybe I just like.
So say if someone asked you that, like what loops do I?
Yeah, I think just asking of ourselves.
Asking ourselves.
Yeah.
What loops do I?
Yeah.
Cool. So for someone watching this, who's maybe feeling down and out, who's maybe feeling like they don't want to get out of bed, is there any piece of advice you could give that person?
The kind of two things always are like to know it's tricky because part of that is feeling really alone, but to know that they're not alone, which is, again, it seems like some of this counselor stuff seems very cliche. So it's not enough just to be like, you go scroll on Instagram, it's like, you're not alone today. There has to be a feeling about it, but in order to like take little steps towards like maybe coming to counseling or maybe reaching out to your friend or like having a feeling of, oh, this person's in my corner or this person's experienced something similar. It's like micro little moments, victories, like getting out of bed, making the bed, like brushing your teeth, like walking to the mailbox. Sometimes it's just like whatever to get a little bit of momentum, like, because it can feel like you're standing in front of a big mountain, or you can just do one little thing, like take one little breath and kind of like try to gain some forward motion in that way.
Right.
And then to feel good about those little things, right? It's like, okay, great. It's like, so in the grand scheme of things, which we sometimes want to jump to of like, things aren't going well in my life right now. It was like how we're doing in this little second. right here, and just try to get to the next one, which can be a real fight, which is why like counselors are here to help with, but sometimes we're just in that, or just like wake up in that.
Right.
And then it's like, what can we do? What do we know about ourselves that can just like get us to the next thing?
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, we can talk about that for a bit. So just to like micro moment plus connecting, like actually having some form of genuine connection.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, because it's like a stack of micro moments like was gonna get you to some form of connection, right? You know, it's like I wake up, I'm not feeling good. You know, I want to reach out to you, but it's like I'm hesitating to do it on text. I'm coming up with excuses why. Like there's some path there that would lead to doing a healthy thing for myself. And it's like it's doing some little things. And so like how much can you slice it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus like this day's shot.
Yeah. Putting everything as like the morning.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. What's one thing people get confused about counseling or don't know? Like is there a misconception?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them, but it's a great question. I think it's like that it's like, I know what you should do with your life. Or like, it's like this expert stance thing. Right. It's like, I just need you to tell, or it's not even, it's like, nobody likes to be talked down to or feeling like they're being infantilized. So it's like knowing that I get, like there's not a lot that people say that like I don't have some understanding of in myself, right? And so for them to know that, and then it's not gonna be like, I'm not here to add to any shame or stigma to this. I'm here to try to do the opposite of that. So it's often a big sigh of relief. People are like, this was it? Like this is what it's gonna be?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like, it's like you're not gonna grill me on what I should stop doing or do. Like we're gonna find that together. It's more collaborative.
Yeah.
I think, than people think.
Yeah.
And it's not me giving you like life commands or anything, or like that's, there are things like that in like coaching or different kind of fields. But this to me is not that.
Yeah. It's not people coming in and just getting in a way interrogated and grilled. It's finding it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should feel good, right? Like even when all the feelings themselves are maybe hard, you know, the feeling like you go to the movies and have a good cry, like after it's like, fuck, like that felt like I was happy about that.
Yeah.
You know, it feels good to feel your feelings, even if you're in the moment, they're like kind of scary or kind of overwhelming. When the wave crests, it's like, it should feel good. It should be a relief.
Awesome. We'll leave it there, my man. Conversations with Counselors, episode 2. Kevin Kokoska. Speed round. Speed round, yeah, exactly. Sweet, my man. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Cool.